Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, Narada's instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam. Text number 15. Juhupsitam dharma kritenu shashatah Svabhavaraktasya mahan vyatikramaha Yadvakyato dharma iti tara stito Na manyate tasya nivaranam janaha Juhupsitam dharma kritenu shashataha Svabhavaraktasya mahan vyatikramaha Yadvakyato dharma iti tarastito Na manyate tasya nivaranam janaha Juhupsitam dharma kritenu shasataha Svabhavaraktasya mahan vyatikramaha Yadvakyato dharma iti tarastito Na manyate tasya nivaranam janaha Juhupsitam dharma kritenu shasataha Svabhavaratasya mahan vyatikramaha Yadvakyato dharma iti tarastito Manyate tasya nivaranam janaha. One more devotee. Sitam dharma krite shashata Svabhavaratasya mahan vyatikramaha Yadvakyato dharma iti tarastito Word to word meaning. Juhupsitam, verily condemned. Dharma krite, for the matter of religion. Anushasataha, instruction. Svabhavaraktasya, naturally inclined. Mahan, great. Vyatikramaha, unreasonable. Yat vakyataha, under whose instruction. Dharmaha, religion. Iti, it is thus. Itaraha, the people in general. Stitaha, fixed. Na, do not. Manyate, think. Tasya, of that. Nivaranam, prohibition. Janaha, they. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. The people in general are naturally inclined to enjoy, and you have encouraged them in that way in the name of religion. That is verily condemned and is quite unreasonable. Because they are guided under your instruction, they will accept such activities in the name of religion and will hardly care for prohibitions. Purport. Srila Vyasadev's compilation of different Vedic literatures on the basis of regulated performance of fruitive activities is depicted in the Mahabharata and other literatures, is condemned herewith by Sri Narada. The human being, by long material association, life after life, have a natural inclination by practice to endeavor to lord it over the material energy, to have no sense of responsibility of human life. They have no sense of responsibility of human life. This human form of life is a chance to get out of the clutches of illusory matter. The Vedas are meant for going back to Godhead, back home, to revolve in the cycle of transmigration in a series of lives numbering 84 lakhs is an imprisoned life for the condemned conditioned souls. The human form of life is a chance to get out of this imprisoned life, and as such, the only occupation of the human being is to reestablish his lost relationship with God. Under the circumstances, one should never be encouraged in making a plan for sense enjoyment in the name of religious functions. Such diversions of the human energy results in misguided civilization. Srila Vyasadeva is the authority in Vedic explanations in the Mahabharata, etc., and his encouragement in sense enjoyment in some form or other is a great barrier for spiritual advancement, because the people in general will not agree to renounce material activities which hold them in material bondage. At a certain stage of human civilization, when such material activities in the name of religion, as sacrificing animals in the name of yajna, were too much rampant, the Lord incarnated himself as Buddha and decreed the authority of the Vedas in order to stop the animal sacrifice in the name of religion. This was foreseen by Narada, and therefore he condemned such literatures. The flesh eaters still continue to perform animal sacrifice before some demigod or goddess in the name of religion, because in some of the Vedic literatures such regulated sacrifices are recommended. They are so recommended to discourage flesh eating, but gradually the purpose of such religious activities is forgotten and the slaughterhouse becomes prominent. This is because foolish materialistic men do not care to listen to others who are actually in the position to explain the Vedic rites. In the Vedas, it is distinctly said that the perfection of life is never to be attained either by voluminous work or by accumulation of wealth or even by increasing the population. But it is so attained only by renunciation. The materialistic men do not care to listen to such injunctions According to them, the so called renounced order of life is meant for those who are unable to earn the livelihood because of some corporal defects, or for persons who have failed to achieve prosperity in family life. In histories like the Mahabharata, of course, there are topics on transcendental subject along with material topics. The Bhagavad Gita is there in the Mahabharata. The whole idea of Mahabharata culminates in the ultimate instruction of Bhagavad Gita. That is, that one should relinquish all other engagements and should engage oneself solely and fully in surrendering unto the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna. But men with materialistic tendencies are more attracted to the politics, economics, and philanthropic activities mentioned in the Mahabharata than to the principal topic, namely Bhagavad Gita. This compromising spirit of Vyasadeva is directly condemned by Narada, who advised him to directly proclaim that the prime necessity of human life is to realize one's eternal relation with the Lord and thus surrender unto Him without delay. A patient suffering from a particular type of malady is almost always inclined to accept eatables which are forbidden for him. The expert physician does not make any compromise with the patient by allowing him to take partially what he should not at all take. In Bhagavad Gita, it is also said that a man attached to fruitive work should not be discouraged from his occupation, for gradually he may be elevated to the position of self realization. This is sometimes applicable for those who are only dry emphoric philosophers without spiritual realization, but those who are in the devotional line need not be always so advised. Om Ajnanatimirandashnyananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruh Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale ते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So this is the theme that is going on in this section. That is, Narada Muni is criticizing Vyasadeva for having written the other Vedic literatures, which actually contains the subject matter of yes, मेरा विजन नहीं आता है. ठीक है. So he is criticizing Vyasadeva writing the other Vedic literatures, which actually contains encouragement for fruitive activities. I think this is not needed. I'll have it in my hand. Just take it. So he's criticizing this one. So recently, like we were making one analysis. So the human form of life or the human body is awarded for two reasons. Two purposes it is actually meant for. So one is for the purpose of sense gratification. Another is purpose of self-realization. So like we have many shlokas which talks about how this human form of life is a very capable boat, which is capable of transferring the living entity from this side of the material ocean to other side, the spiritual realm. And also like we see that the human form of life, this body is designed in such a way that it facilitates the performance of yajna. So and those people who are materialist, they can actually perform the like ritualistic Vedic ritualistic ceremonies, and then they can get better chance for sense gratification. So that is also like it is mentioned. So it is also there that the all the senses are nicely developed only in the human form of life, and only human form of life, like everything, all the sense gratification can be fully done also. So this body is designed and tuned for sense gratification, and it is also designed and tuned for self-realization. So both the things, both the things are present in this human form of life. So now that is why it is called as a junction. So now animal body, so it is not tuned for self-realization. So animal body, they cannot do the Shravanam, Kirtanam, and they cannot do Tapasya and things like that. So it is tuned only for sense gratification. And then you find the residents of Siddhaloka and like higher planetary systems, so their body is more tuned for self-realization. But of course, they also have much greater subtle form of sense gratification, much higher quality of sense gratification. But they are the subtle body and everything is like designed for dharma, designed for self-realization. So they are like that. So this human form of life is more for more like balanced. This one, if somebody wants to go this side, they can go. Somebody wants to go that side, they can go. So it is designed for both these purposes. So there are different literatures. The Vedic literatures are there, and different subjects are there. So all of them, so they actually point to one particular way of advancement. The Srimad Bhagavatam and this, the Vaishnava principles, they actually point to one particular way of advancement. And if you see the Karma Kanda, section of the Vedas, they also point to one particular direction. So what is this direction that they actually take? So when we see the Karma Kanda literatures or even Karma Yoga, kind of literatures, so they also talk about that, we should renounce things. And we should renounce things means what? Like, what is renunciation? So, like having association with a married wife is called a renunciation. You are renouncing all other women just to have association with that woman. So that is a renunciation they actually advise. So everywhere renunciation is there. Without renunciation, there is no principle of advancement in Krishna consciousness, because the whole Vedic scriptures, they all talk about how to actually give up sense gratification and how to actually take up Krishna consciousness. So they advise in different degrees, and Srimad Bhagavatam advises in the highest degree. So towards the end, Prabhupada actually mentions that there are prohibitions, like for a patient, there are prohibitions are there, so which aggravates his disease. So expert physician will not even allow, even in small quantity also, that which is not allowed to be taken. Right? So that is like Bhagavad Dharma. And if we take the Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga and things like that, this is not good for you, but itna le sakta hai tum. So that is like other dharmas. So Bhagavad Dharma means ye nahi le sakta to nahi le sakta, khatam. Only 64 angas of bhakti, like that. So that is Bhagavad Dharma. So, of course, Bhagavatam will speak about such subjects. So, the people in general are naturally inclined to enjoy, and you have encouraged them in that way, in the name of religion. This is verily condemned and is quite unreasonable, because they are guided under your instruction. They will accept such activities in the name of religion and will hardly care for prohibitions. So, whenever you see there is allowance for material activities, there is always prohibitions. So there's one nice shloka, which is like which Prabhupada often quotes in terms of this kamya karma or prohibitions, is that loke vyavaya amisha madhya seva nityahi jantur nahi tatra chodana vyavastitisteshu vivahe yajna suraganer ashu nivrita ishta. So he mentions that loke, people in general, they are very much addicted to, or naturally they are attached to vyavaya, means illicit sex, amisha, like that is meat eating, and madhya seva is intoxication. So, and for that purpose, it is very difficult for people, if you ask them like completely give it up, they'll not be able to give it up. So that is why, there is, in the Vedic system, there is vivaha yajna, okay, like, no, you'll not be able to give it up, you at least get married, and then, properly be engaged, in the dharmic activities. Now, vivaha yajna, and then this, anybody can, huh? Like, read the translation.
In the material world, the conditioned soul is always inclined to sex, meat eating, and intoxication. Therefore, religious scriptures never actually encourage such activities. Although the scriptural injunction provide for sex through sacred marriage, for meat eating through sacrificial offerings, and for intoxication through the acceptance of ritual cups of wine, such ceremonies are meant for the ultimate purpose of renunciation.
Yeah, so like all these things are meant for renunciation. So like when people actually hear, Narad Muni is actually noting a particular point, that when you give them sense gratification, along with some rules and regulations, along with some prohibitions and things like that, so the materialistic people, they will take, व्यासदेव ने बताया कि ये कर सकते हैं, अरे उसके साथ कुछ like don'ts also he told, so and then if you cannot do it, if you cannot renounce, then you do it, like that उन्होंने दिया. So but then people will not care for all those things, they will just tell कि like ये तो शास्त्र में है, so शास्त्र में किस रूप में है वो नहीं पता है, but शास्त्र में है. So but ultimately like everything is designed for renunciation. One time I read one article by one Muslim scholar who actually became a devotee of ISKCON devotee. He had written an article on this meat eating, in the in their religion. So he had mentioned that. So one of the things that was mentioned in the scriptures, is that why kill so many small animals? Why not kill one big animal like camel or something like that? So like ultimately, and then there was introduction of like people were completely barbaric. They were destroying, or they were killing animals left, right, center, and things like that. And there were rules and regulations. You have to perform certain rituals, and you have to after killing, like you have to give 7 portions in charity, and 1 portion you can accept it, and so much of rules and regulations, and people started complaining that our production is going down. So but then like all these rules and regulations are designed, he had analyzed that all these rules and regulations are designed in such a way that it has to be renounced. In any religion, if you see, there is restrictions for meat eating, there is restrictions for like the marriage and things like that. There are restrictions for man and women coming together, and there is like no restrictions for intoxication. So everywhere all these things are there. Restrictions or rules and regulations governing that. There is no rules and regulations governing drinking milk or eating grains and things like that. Usme is din itna hi khana chahiye and things like that and all. So it is not there. So this goes to say that there is, whenever there is rules and regulations governing a particular item, so then we should understand this is ultimately meant for renunciation. So it is given to us with some prescriptions, like because we cannot give it up. So that is the whole this one. And Narad Muni is pointing here that these things would happen, that people will take only the prescriptions and they will avoid the prohibitions. In that way, like materialistic people will tweak the Vedic literatures or interpret the Vedic literatures. So that is a concern that Vyasadeva is actually putting forward. And purport, Srila Vyasadev's compilation of different Vedic literatures on the basis of regulated performance of fruitive activity as depicted in Mahabharata and other literatures is condemned herewith by Sri Narada. So one important thing whenever we come across this statement, so for making substantial progress in Krishna consciousness, or progress without making any regress. So one has to understand like various entities that are there. So one of the entities is the Vedic literatures, very very important subject. So now these Vedic literatures, like in the 10 offenses, like what do we or what are we supposed to do in terms of Vedic literatures? What should be our attitude towards Vedic literatures? Huh? One should not blaspheme the Vedic literatures. And here what Narad Muni is doing? No, it's like Vyasadev's compilation of different Vedic literatures on the basis of regulated performance of fruitive activities as depicted in Mahabharata and other literatures is condemned here by Srila Narada. So what is he doing? He's doing third offense. Third or fourth offense. No, like he's a Mahajan. So he knows exactly what needs to be done. So like for a devotee who wants to make advancement in Krishna consciousness and who wants to attain attachment, intense attachment to the holy name and Srimad Bhagavatam and to the lotus feet of the Lord. So one has to be like very careful in execution of the angas of bhakti. So like here the subject matter is being criticized for people who are like making serious advancement in Krishna consciousness. So first of all, the book's context is established in the first few shlokas of Bhagavatam itself. So Dharma Prochita Karitavatra Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam. So like for whom this Bhagavatam is meant for? So one who is like completely given up sense gratification, and one who is completely given up all other religion which is materially motivated. That is the religious performance that will give material sense gratification, the religious performance that will result in liberation and things like that. So this is completely condemned. And then people who are only wanting to develop attachment to the lotus feet of the Lord, such is the audience of the scripture. And for them, they have to criticize these aspects of the scriptures. So this aspects of the scriptures means it is not for them, but others may actually do it. So that is something like which Prabhupada also quotes from the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that in the Bhagavad Gita it is also said that a man attached to fruitive work should not be discouraged from his occupation, for gradually he may be elevated to the position of self-realization. So this is also mentioned, that if somebody is attached to like the fruitive activities and karma kanda and things like that, so we may not go and disturb him. So but then if asked like what we are supposed to do, so then we will say like no, this is like very horrible. It is almost like taking poison for a person who wants to attain intense attachment to the lotus feet of the Lord. So like the scriptures that talks about if you do this, you will get this material benefit. If you do this, you will get liberation. In fact, the scriptures actually say that bhukti mukti spriha yavat pishyachi hridi vartate. So it mentions in that way. So that bhukti mukti spriha, or desire for sense gratification and desire for liberation, is almost like ghost that is haunting a person. And tavat bhakti sukhasyartam katham abhyudayo bhavet. So like how will the bliss of Krishna consciousness touch the heart of such a person whose heart is haunted by the desires for sense gratification and desires for liberation. So it is, and also in many places it is mentioned that it is mentioned as poison also. Narottam Das Thakur's bhajan, which Prabhupada often quotes, anybody remember? That so karma kanda, jnana kanda, kevala vishera banda. So that is one thing is there. No. That is like in comparison to karma and jnana. So I think this is very nice. This one, karma kanda, jnana kanda, kevala vishera banda. So why it is like if you take a visha, what happens to you? We will die, right? So now in comparison to that, why this is compared as visha, karma and jnana? Bhakti will die. Yeah, so that is a key thing. So bhakti means what? Like bhakti means I want to see everything as like I want to see Krishna as the enjoyer, and I want to supply things for his enjoyment. And karma kanda and jnana kanda means what? I have to see myself as enjoyer, and I have to supply things for me. I want sense objects or I want liberation. So in bhakti means, to gratify the senses of Krishna. It goes directly against that particular this one. So that is why it is considered to be Visha. It just kills the basic propensity. It just works on the root, like to destroy the whole purpose of, or the whole central point of gratifying Krishna's senses. Right? So that is why it is considered to be Visha. And so for a person who is who wants to make tremendous advancement in Krishna consciousness, so these things are considered to be like very poisonous, and that needs to be condemned. No, so that needs to be condemned. So like it is not that we respect the Vedic literatures. Why we respect the Vedic literatures? How can we simultaneously respect and condemn also?
Because they are meant for a particular purpose.
So now it is like this taking the medicines of sugar or pressure and things like that for a person who doesn't have. No, it is not needed actually for him. But then he will not say that no, that medicine should not be there in the medical shop. No, वो तो अच्छा medicine है लेकिन रहने दो किसी को use होगा. And so like that. So in this way we see that this is also a medicine. This is also a dharma, Veda pranihito dharma. So that is there, and also like it is mentioned as that it is words of Krishna. Like the Vedas are nothing but words of Krishna. So a devotee of the Lord would always give respect to the words of Krishna, but also he will say that if certain words of Krishna are not very good and certain words of Krishna is good. Right? So like for example, when Krishna speaks karma mimamsa philosophy in Srimad Bhagavatam, so it is Bhagavan Uvacha. So but then we don't accept that. So like it is not about it is not about who speaks. It is about what has been spoken. Even if Supreme Personality of Godhead were to speak karma, we will not accept it. only the bhakti portion of it we will accept it, right? So that is very, very important. So in this way, we see that it is words of the Supreme Lord, so it is dharma. So we will not disrespect those words, but at the same time we will not accept it for our own practice also. And also like one has to seriously have aversion towards it. If you don't have aversion towards it, if you don't feel disgusted towards it, so then it is very dangerous for the bhakti. So that is why the people who are trained to attain the lotus feet of the Lord in very short time, so they are like trained in this way that Vedic dharmic things, like adharmic things are okay, fine. No, you have to be against it. So here it is spoken that even lower dharma, you have to develop some kind of dislike and aversion towards those things. That is very essential. Otherwise, we will not be able to make tremendous advancement. So if somebody says, okay, intense Krishna consciousness is nice, तो ठीक है, like A भी चलेगा, so then he will not make advancement. So if he has to make advancement, so this kind of a mood and attitude is very essential. That no sense gratification is condemned. Even the legal form of sense gratification is condemned. Even though it is mentioned in the pages of Vedic literature, still it is condemned. That is very, very essential. And then the human beings, by long material association, life after life, have a natural inclination by practice to endeavor to lord it over material energy. Why the living entities do that? Because of constant association with the material nature. And material nature's job and material nature's products, like this material body and then all the other material objects, all of them are designed for sense gratification. So like malls are designed for to extract money from your pocket. Even though you don't want to spend money, still like if you go to a mall, it will happen in such a way that you will spend money, like kuch na kuch spend karke aayenge. So that is how it is. The person is very much determined. I will only do window shopping. And so people say, okay, fine, you only do window shopping. We will have big windows, and then we'll have a nice display of products. You don't need to buy at all. Just simply come and see. So that is sufficient. So that is how it happens. So the material nature is fully designed for sense gratification, and it is because of that there is a natural tendency for sense gratification. So they have no sense of responsibility of human life. So human life's responsibility is that he should make advancement in Krishna consciousness. So it is mentioned here that the human form of life is chance to get out of the clutches of illusory matter. So this is how the Bhagavad Dharma, so scriptures in relation to Bhagavad Dharma, so they will present it like this. But if you see the scriptures in relation to karma, so they will say like, no, this is the opportunity, like, no, this is the place where you can perform, like, don't try to enjoy your material senses. No, do tapasya and go to heavenly planets and enjoy. No, that's how the karma kanda literatures will present. And then this one Bhagavad Dharma will present exactly the same thing. No, don't try to enjoy this material world. Do tapasya and try to go back to the spiritual world. Right? So both of them are telling the same. No, like end result is only different. So the responsibility of human form of life is to get out of the clutches of illusory matter. The Vedas are meant for going back to Godhead, back home, to revolve in the cycle of transmigration in a series of lives numbering 84 lakhs is an imprisoned life for the condemned conditioned souls. So this is like, Srimad Bhagavatam actually puts forward the blatant truth. It's like blatant lie kind of thing. It's like, it's open truth, in front of all of us that, this is, the living entity, the spirit soul, being present within this material body is kind of an imprisonment, and one has to get out of this imprisonment. And this human form of life is the chance to get out of this imprisoned life. And as such, only occupation of the human being is to re-establish his lost relationship with God. So that means the Bhagavad Dharma, of course, like, Bhagavatam should propagate Bhagavad Dharma. So if not, like, who else will propagate, So Bhagavad Dharma says, like, your only job is to execute 64 angas of bhakti and nothing else. So that is how the Bhagavad Dharma will speak, the Bhagavatam will speak. Now, under the circumstance, one should never be encouraged in making a plan for sense enjoyment in the name of religious functions. Such diversions of human energy results in the misguided civilization. Srila Vyasadeva is the authority in Vedic explanations in Mahabharata, etc., and his encouragement in sense enjoyment in some form or other is a great barrier for spiritual advancement, because the people in general will not agree to renounce material activities which hold them in material bondage. And so that is how in the Bhagavad Dharma, it is first thing that is recommended is give up everything and become sannyasi. And then if you cannot, okay, fine, become a grahastha, but like, maximum time you do devotional service only. And then if you cannot do that also, okay, fine, like, at least do some devotional service and kaise bhi gaadi chalao. So it starts from, like that. So that is the way of presentation of Bhagavad Dharma, because they see that, like, you are in a diseased condition. So diseased condition is you want to do sense gratification. So just immediately stop all activities of sense gratification and immediately apply yourself into Shravanam, Kirtanam and Smaranam and things like that. So that's how, the language of Bhagavad Dharma is like that. So Srila Vyasadeva is the authority in Vedic explanations in Mahabharata, etc., and his encouragement in sense enjoyment in some form or other is a great barrier for spiritual advancement, because people in general will not agree to renounce material activities which hold them in material bondage. So Vyasadeva may say, like, no, I have designed all these things. No, it is not. Don't think that it is like gross sense gratification. I have designed, it is like Vedic Dharma. Now I have designed in such a way that they will make spiritual advancement and also they will enjoy sense gratification. And in this way, gradually they will be able to make advancement in Krishna consciousness. So then Narad Muni's argument is that he you are thinking like that. No, you are given like that. So but then look, carefully choose करेंगे sense gratification को and prohibitions को छोड़ देंगे. So in that way, like, your purpose will be lost. So and they will not agree to renounce material activities. So it is also the spirit behind the activities are also very important. Why a particular activity is given, and what is the purpose behind that activity, so that needs to be understood. So when somebody understands that, so then he will be able to make best advantage, he will be able to take best advantage of the situation. So now what is the purpose of Vedic dharmic sense gratification? The purpose of Vedic dharmic sense gratification is to renounce that sense gratification. But a person who is wanting to engage in that, what is his purpose of executing that? अरे like no अच्छा ये मिल गया like this I have got a legal way of doing sense gratification, so it is अच्छा मौका मिल गया, so I will do it. So now such a person with such kind of an attitude will not be able to develop renunciation. No, to develop renunciation, so one has to also desire for that particular thing, so one has to also have the goal. So what goal you have, so only that you will get. No, so you will not be able to get anything else apart from whatever goal you have got it. So now the process is designed in such a way not to attain a particular thing, but the practitioner of the process should also have that goal in mind. So in only one case, even if you don't have the right goal, still you will get the right thing. No, what is that? Kevala Bhakti. No, like 24/7 Bhakti if somebody does, just like Dhruva Maharaj, he wanted a bigger kingdom. No, but then he got Krishna Prem. So ये खाली like केवल भक्ति में हो सकता है. So in any other package, if you take whatever goal you have, so that goal matters. No, that is why that is association of the transcendentalist is very very essential to tune the goal. No, the material nature is tuning our goal, saying that goal of life is to do sense gratification. And we need to have association of devotees to tune our goal, saying that the goal of life is to attain Krishna. So that is our goal. So that is very very essential. So otherwise it is especially the material processes. It is very very difficult without having the right goal. It is very difficult to attain the right result. So they will not agree to renounce material activities. At a certain stage of human civilization, when such material activities in the name of religion, as sacrificing animals in the name of yajna, were too rampant, the Lord incarnated as Buddha and decreed the authority of Vedas in order to stop the animal sacrifice in the name of religion. So this is what happened. So when Buddha advented, what was the situation? So the situation is that people were citing Vedic literatures and then telling that animal sacrifice is bona fide. So it is not haphazardly they were killing animals. So they were citing Vedic literatures on the strength of Vedic Dharma. So they were doing indiscriminate animal sacrifice. And then Buddha had to tell that it is very difficult to give the right purport of the Vedas to them because they are very expert in giving wrong purport. Just like Prabhupada used to tell that preaching to Indians is more difficult. In the Western world, nobody knew anything about Vedic Dharma, and Prabhupada told this is Vedic Dharma, chanting, and this one, what is it? Whole day doing Sankirtan is Vedic Dharma, and rest everything is bogus, and they believed it. And in India, you come and you see that Prabhupada's lecture to Indians and all. So everybody will come and ask so many different questions. Why it is like this? Why it is in Bhagavad Gita it is told like this? It is to be interpreted like this and things like that. And it is very tough time, preaching to Indians, because they know so much of philosophy, and they have understood philosophy in a wrong way. Usko dimag change करने को बहुत मुश्किल है. So and Westerners, they didn't know anything. Whatever Prabhupada told, this is you have to chant. And you have to sense gratification is completely bogus and it is completely to be avoided. Oh, ऐसा क्या? ठीक है. लगता है यही होता है Vedic scriptures में, and they accepted it. And they didn't know this is just 0.1% of the Vedic scriptures talk about this, and 99.99% of the Vedic scriptures talk about dharmic sense gratification. And they didn't know about that. And they thought this is what is ultimate thing. And Prabhupada didn't even brought about what is it? This is karma kanda, this is jnana kanda, and this is all bad and things like that. So Prabhupada simply told this is Krishna consciousness and this is all have to be taken. And karma kanda and jnana kanda, they for many for many devotees they thought this is non-Vedic or it is against Vedic dharma. So that is a kind of this one. Prabhupada's preaching was so effective. So because he had a very clear slate audience, who was not having any wrong understanding of the Vedic scriptures. So in that way, here we see that Buddha had to come and say that give up Vedic scriptures because they were great pandits in the Vedic scriptures, no, and they were interpreting in a wrong way, no, to do animal sacrifice and things like that. So, no, Buddha told like, no, let's take a completely different field, no. So like we will not argue on the Vedas. No, Vedas is like you just give up Vedas and just become, no, non-violent and things like that. So Narad Muni is able to foresee such things that no, people will just take the no prescriptions and avoid the prohibitions, and in this way, no, the demigod worship and then the animal sacrifice and things like that and all. So these things will become rampant. So in the Vedic literatures, these things are there. No, that there is some level of allowances of animal sacrifices there. No, in front of no various demigods and things like that. But it is not. It comes under the category of kamya karma, that is allowances, no special allowances, no for extra top up for sense gratification. So within the Vedic dharma, only so much sense gratification. And if somebody demands, no, this is not sufficient, I will do Vedic dharma, I will not go and do adharma, but give me little more sense gratification. So then, no, the kamya karmas are allowed. So, but one problem is when somebody executes kamya karma, he will not be able to make progress in Krishna consciousness. No, he will not be able to make elevation. He is not going to go to hell, no, because he has not performed adharma, but he will also not be able to elevate himself. No, he will only be able to maintain status quo, no, whichever position he is there. So that is why the kamya karma, no, has to be like strictly avoided for no practitioners of Krishna consciousness. So they are so recommended to discourage flesh eating, no, all these Vedic rituals, but gradually the purpose of such religious activities is forgotten and the slaughterhouse become prominent. This is because foolish materialistic men do not care to listen to others who are actually in the position to explain the Vedic rites. No, this is there in rampant, every religion, no, even in Hindu religion or no Christian or Islam or anywhere you go. So this is there, this slaughterhouses and selling of non-vegetarian food is there in every religion. No, like every religion has very strong prohibitions. No, for that. In our Vedic dharma, so if somebody has to eat non-veg, so he cannot purchase it from store. No, in no religion actually it is there that no, you can purchase non-veg from a shop. No, that is not there. So it is there only you have to personally kill and then chant certain mantras and things like that and all. So even in Christianity or Islam, no, anywhere you see the same thing is there. No, there's so much of procedures. No, and one has to personally do. And in some religions, it is also there that you have to give so much in charity. No, it is like if you are able to produce X amount of quantity, you have to give. You can only take 1/8 portion. No, and 1/7 has to be given. So or the one portion you can take and 7 portions you have to give it in charity. So like that and all, very serious rules are there. And then but in all religions we see that this is the natural tendency. Like what Narad Muni is telling is not only for the followers of Vedas. No, every religion, this is the fault that is there. They only want to take the prescription and they want to avoid the prohibitions. No, and this will happen. So that is why Bhagavad Dharma it talks about. It is in Kali Yuga all these things and all will not happen. Prescriptions, prohibitions. So sab kuch prohibited hai in sense gratification and only this. So that is why it is mentioned that Hare Rama Namaiva Kevalam Kalau Nasteva Gatirandita. If somebody wants to escape from the ill effects of Kali Yuga, this only means is to fully take shelter of the holy names of the Lord. So all this sandwich method and things like that and all will not work. So people are not so, what is that, they are not so truthful, even in accepting the Vedic things. So they have no vested interest in accepting the Vedic things. In the Vedas, it is distinctly said that the perfection of life is never to be attained by voluminous work or by accumulation of wealth or even by increasing the population. But it is so attained only by renunciation. So the materialistic men do not care to listen to such injunctions. Now, as I mentioned that, even the Vedic dharma of marriage is also an act of renunciation. That I would not associate with any other women. I would only associate with the duly wedded wife. So that is this one. So everywhere it is a concept of renunciation. So marriage is celebrated as a big function and ceremony and things like that. It's actually a ceremony of renunciation. No, it is a no celebration of renunciation. He has renounced all other women, no, just to be with this, no, this person. So in that way, like it is, no, everything, every ceremony in the Vedic system is actually a ceremony of renunciation. Right? So according to them, the so-called renounced order of life is meant for those who are unable to earn livelihood. So क्यों साधु बन गया? तो कुछ जॉब नहीं लगा होगा, लाइक नो कुछ लाइफ में फ्रस्ट्रेटेड था, ना साधु बन गया. So like that. So that is how the materialist actually think. In fact, no, when I joined ashram, so some of my relatives also asked, no, तुम्हारा क्या प्रॉब्लम है बताओ, मैं ठीक करता हूँ. No, इतना like what is that? No, डिप्रेशन में चला गया तो like हमसे पूछना था, like no, हम इलाज करते हैं उसको. So, but then no, people actually think, no, materialistic people actually think that, so people become sadhus, no, just because no, they are what is that? No, they have become failure in the life. No, that is why they have taken this thing. So, in the histories like Mahabharata, of course, there are topics on transcendental subjects along with material subjects. So, like Mahabharata is also talking about Krishna and the Krishna's interaction with the Pandavas, and so many transcendental subjects are also there. So the Bhagavad Gita is also there in the Mahabharata. The whole idea of Mahabharata culminates in the ultimate instruction of Bhagavad Gita, that one should relinquish all other engagements and should engage oneself solely and fully in surrendering unto the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna. So this process of surrender actually has also many meanings. Like according to the Bhagavad Dharma, so the meaning of process of surrender is Sarva Dharman Parityajya, means like give up the karma, jnana and yoga and take up to bhakti. No, like apply oneself to the 64 angas of bhakti. So that is the Bhagavad Dharma's understanding. So, but when you approach like a person, so Bhagavad Gita is revered, no, by everybody, and like even a person who's following karma yoga, a person who is following jnana yoga, everybody reveres, no, Bhagavad Gita, and their definition of surrender there is little different, no. So taking complete shelter of Krishna means like to do some portion of karma, some portion of jnana and some portion of bhakti. So that they consider to be surrender, no. So like a person in the karma yoga platform. So but a person in the bhakti yoga platform, so they would say that no, give up karma completely, give up jnana completely and only apply yourself to bhakti. So in this way, like the same shlokas, no, it has degrees of meaning, no, various degrees of meaning, and various practitioners will derive, no, various meanings from the same text. Right? So, and like the same book, no, can actually act as, no, it's like, no, you have light fever, you have, no, Dolo 350, 650, and then like heavy fever, like, no, you have like, no, more mg of this one and things like that. But Bhagavad Gita doesn't need to be like that, no. So somebody is like deeply materialistic, no, for him also Bhagavad Gita is medicine. No, the same Sarva Dharman Parityajya will give a different meaning for him. No, somebody who wants very badly to attain the lotus feet of the Lord, the same Sarva Dharman Parityajya will give different meaning to it. Right? So that is how the Vedic scriptures are designed. So that degrees of meanings are there in all of them. And no, we can actually study, no, like in depth about like how, no, the person in Karma Yoga will interpret that shloka, how a person in Jnana Yoga will interpret that shloka, no, and how a Bhakti Yogi will interpret that shloka. So in that way, and none of these interpretations are false. It is, all of them are right, and all of them are right for a certain, no, class of audience, right? And then they make, they make sense to them. So, but men with materialistic tendencies are more attracted to the politics, economics, philanthropic activity mentioned in the Mahabharata than to the principal topic, namely Bhagavad Gita. So it is, all of them are given. So like, no, it is, medicine is such nice at this one that no, जिसको जो medicine चाहिए खाली उसी में attract होंगे, no, and they will only follow that, no, in that this one. And materialistic people will naturally get attracted to the materialistic topics over there. And this compromising spirit of Vyasadeva is directly condemned by Narada, who advised him to directly proclaim that the prime necessity of human life is to realize one's eternal relationship with the Lord and thus surrender unto him without delay. No? So this is the preaching of Bhagavad Dharma. So a patient suffering from a particular type of malady is almost always inclined to accept eatables which are forbidden for him. Sugar patient likes to eat sugar because itna din itna focus nahi kiya tha, अभी नहीं खाना है करके बोल दिया तो like मन लग रहा है right. So it is so much it actually becomes कीड़ा बैठ जाता है ना, तो like उसके बाद उसको खाना ही है, so like that. So the expert physician does not make any compromise, so like actually we see that once one devotee was telling, Prabhuji, like I am thinking that before taking up Krishna consciousness I was not so lusty and so materialistic and things like that. So after taking up to Krishna consciousness, it is like so much haunting is there in the mind. Why it is so? So like, what is the standard example given for that? Cleaning of a dirty house. So where lot of dirt is there that has got sedimented. So when you start brooming, the first thing that will happen is it will all fly up. So it will all come up in the air. So in that way, like when the cleaning starts, it may appear that we are more materialistic than the normal people, the ordinary people of the world. So because they are much more peaceful, so like they are not having so much of this one, and like person who's chanting is thinking that more than Krishna, other things are only revolving in the mind. So that is because of the cleaning process. So now, that is why they are more susceptible, for the attraction to the materialistic things. So the sadhakas are, so the materialist, they are completely on the ground. There is nowhere to fall down further. And those who are perfected, they have reached the perfection and they are safely settled. Jo sadhaka hai, they are trying to go up, and then there is possibility of them falling, and then there is possibility of them, with great difficulty they can actually make progress, right? So that is why it is very, very dangerous for them. So they have to take shelter of the Lord at every step of the spiritual practice. And so the expert physicians, they are telling that they go there is possibility that you can take a dharmic portion of this sense gratification, and then if you effectively deal with it, you will not be affected. But itna risk kyun? Chhod do. So that is what is like they are telling, that the expert physician does not make any compromise with the patient by allowing him to take partially what he is not supposed to take, what he should not at all take. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is also said that a man attached to fruitive work should not be encouraged for his occupation, should not be discouraged from his occupation, for gradually he may be elevated to the position of self-realization. So this is a contradictory statement Prabhupada is putting, that expert physician will not even allow a little bit of allowance of sense gratification. He will only say that your purpose is to attain the lotus feet of the Lord. Why waste time in anything else apart from the 64 angas of bhakti? So but then the Bhagavad Gita talks about that if somebody is engaged in dharmic sense gratification and then gradual elevation in Krishna consciousness, so don't disturb him. At least he is situated in something, right? So like, what is the point? Why in Bhagavad Gita it is mentioned don't disturb him? हाँ, तो वो छोड़ के भक्ति करने के लिए ट्राई करेंगे, उसमें काम नहीं हुआ तो वो तो पहले ही छोड़ा हुआ है, तो बाकी क्या होगा, अधर्म में चले जाएंगे वो. So it becomes a problem, it is not a very good thing for a person. So at least he is solidly situated in some place. So but the Bhagavad Dharma, it talks about making tremendous advancement on the strength of faith and enthusiasm derived from a great transcendentalist. So that is why the Bhagavad Dharma recommends this. Otherwise, one's own safe advancement is gradual advancement. But Bhagavad Dharma talks about vigorous advancement. So if somebody wants to make vigorous advancement, he takes shelter of a great Vaishnava, who's having intense desire to make spiritual progress, and with the help of that devotee's faith and enthusiasm, he may actually take up to a vigorous process of Krishna consciousness. So that is possible in that way. So what Bhagavad Gita talks about, that is also true, and that is very valid, and it's a sensible thing that Krishna is telling. And here what Narad Muni is speaking, or what Srila Prabhupada is commenting upon, that is also a sensible thing. If there is if your goal is to attain Krishna, then why waste time in other things? and then just simply take this, particular this one, and then take up fully. And here also, like in the next two shlokas, this shloka is going to come. Tyaktva swadharmam charanam bhujam hare. So most probably, I'll only take that shloka also. We will see that time. That so the problem that Krishna is advising in Bhagavad Gita. So the problem is, they are safely situated, in some level of spiritual advancement, and why to disturb them, and why to take them to a higher higher package, and then if they will not be able to sustain, they will not go back to their intermediate package, they will fall completely. So don't disturb them. So now Narad Muni is going to address that in Tyaktva Swadharmam. So what's the point? Like even if they fall, let them fall. At least sometime, at least they will do the real thing, what they are supposed to do. So that is the opinion of the preachers of Bhagavad Dharma. So like they have very radical thought, very very radical thought. So anyways, so here this is sometimes applicable to those who are only dry emphoric philosophers without spiritual realization, but those who are in the devotional line need not be always so advised. So Prabhupada uses many wonderful words here. So that this gradual advancement, they are safely situated in some level of Krishna consciousness, let them gradually advance. These kind of instructions are meant for, where does this come, this instruction in Bhagavad Gita? This, don't disturb the people who are, third chapter is krama, progress, like gradual progress of Krishna consciousness. The first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita talks about the gradual progress of Krishna consciousness. So there this is mentioned. So Krishna himself will mention later on, that give up everything and then immediately take up. So that is, both the things are there in Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is a complete book, which talks about the gradual progress and which talks about the intense progress. Both of them are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. So, and here Prabhupada is telling that those who are convinced that my only purpose of life is to attain the lotus feet of the Lord, so then they may have to take, for them this kind of advice is not given. That gradually, dhire dhire, सावधान से जाइए. अरे समझ गया ना, अभी भागो. So like that. So this is the different kind of an instruction. So both the things, जो समझदार नहीं है, so उनके लिए it is told that ठीक है, sense gratification is the goal of life for him, or liberation is goal of life for him. तो ठीक है, you are situated in some nice platform of progress, तो इसी को करते रहो. अच्छा है, But somebody comes to the point of understanding, अब समझ में आ गया, sense gratification is not the goal of life, liberation is not the goal of life. Attainment of Krishna is the only goal of life. तो इतना समझ में आ गया तो आप तो full time इसी चीज को करो, like that. So this is the way the logic is built over here. So with this I pause today's discussion. Any questions, comments we can take. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the wonderful class. I wish to ask about this particular karmic karma which you were mentioning as a top-up for sense gratification, and you were mentioning that it does not produce sin, but it hinders our bhakti. I'm correct. So, the question was that does it not produce sin? Because in other places we find, for example, King Prachin Bari, if I'm not wrong, he was showed a vision by Narada that he was doing fruitive activities, sacrifices, and he was showed a vision where he will be suffering. Similarly, the term Mamsa also we explained that it brings us to the repercussions of being slaughtered by that animal in the next life. So how it doesn't produce sin?
So if the animal is sacrificed for his spiritual advancement, so then it is not going to be a sinful activity. So the animal is going to get immediately a new body and things like that and all. So but if that is not happening, so then it is accounted in the sinful activity. So there is neutral activity and there is sinful activity. So it is very very difficult to perform this kamya karma. It requires great deal of expertise to perform the kamya karma without being wet, without being sinful. So anybody who does that circus, it's a big circus. It is a person who wants to do sense gratification. There is so much of difficulty that is planted into the system. So like that is why generally the fruitive workers are sinful. Because they will somewhere or other they will omit some prohibitions and then they will take little more advantage of the prescriptions and things like that, and they will become sinful. In that way. So in stricter sense, I was just talking in the academic sense that kama karmas, when it is performed in a proper way, so then it is not sinful. It is within the dharmic boundary, but he will not make spiritual progress. Even if he manages to perform the kama karma very effectively, very expertly, still he will not be able to make spiritual progress.
In case of like this Prachim Bhari, as it was mentioned that he was expert at performing yajna, and being a king, he was performing it for the welfare of the society.
He must have performed somewhere, something maybe, like faulty maybe there. Otherwise, I'll have to check that particular this one. But in general, this is the this one that definitely it has its karmic reactions. So it has its karmic reactions. So because the karma kanda, the whole thing itself is playing with the karmic reactions. So it is not that he will go to hellish planets and things like that, a person who is executing this kind of things. So but he will not be able to make advancement in this one. Even if he has to go to heavenly planets, so he has to give up a lot of kamya karma. So that is when like he'll be able to elevate himself to those things. So it is kamya karma is something like which is pulling down. It is like weighing very heavy on the practitioner of a yoga. Yes. There only.
In this first canto only we find a verse. In this first canto only you find a verse that Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita. Like when you do devotion service, then you automatically attend renunciation and knowledge. But you mentioned that the Bhagavad Dharma, the theme is that you first you try to do renunciation. If you can't do, then you gradually adopt this. So my question is that someone is situated at a certain place where he is not able to do renunciation. Should he focus more on Krishna consciousness, or should he focus actively for renunciation to get Krishna consciousness?
See, because we are studying the subject of Bhagavad Dharma, so Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita means one who has adopted the external renunciation without the renunciation in the heart. So when he does that in Karma Yoga, he will fall. When he does that in the Jnana Yoga, he will fall. But when he does that in the Bhakti Yoga, his internal renunciation will come. That's the purport of that particular shloka. That if somebody is executing Bhakti Yoga, here Bhakti Yoga means, generally what we think as Bhakti Yoga is like 16 rounds, 4 regulative principles and a little bit of, that is called Karma Yoga actually. That is maximum portion of the life is, maximum portion of the day we are spending in our maintenance of our family or maintenance of our material needs and things like that and all. So that is called Gunibhuta Bhakti or Karma Mishra Bhakti or Karma Yoga. So that is how these are the terms that are used for that particular this one. So that is very nice. That's very nice. And then eventually we desire to come to the point of at least I tell that even if somebody gets married, so one should understand that the marriage is also an agreement of renunciation. So after 25 years, I should renounce and then I should take up the execution of Bhakti full-fledged. So when we take up the execution of Bhakti full-fledged, so that time, so the Jnanam and Vairagyam that comes in the heart, so generally in other processes, so one has to renounce only after he gets Vairagya in the heart. That's when he should adopt the external renunciation. But in the process of Bhakti, he is allowed to do external renunciation without internal renunciation. So, and eventually he will attain the internal renunciation. So that is what is mentioned here. In Karma Yoga, it is not possible. First you renounce and then you perform the yoga. It is not possible. Jnana Yoga, it is not possible. Jnana Yoga, you tell that first I will renounce and perform the angas of Jnana and then I don't have renunciation at heart. So they will say like, no, don't even get admission. No, you will not get this particular subject here. So if you want to develop renunciation, you should perform the karma yoga, and gradually karma yoga will purify your heart and renunciation will come in the heart. When renunciation comes in the heart, then you come to the jnana yoga or take sannyas and things like that. But in the bhakti yoga, no, external renunciation is no encouraged, and then no, internal renunciation will automatically come later on. So this is not available in other practices. So that's what is mentioned over there. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita.
About the vice versa, like pure devotee may seem externally not renounced, but internally renounced. So is this possible?
Yeah, it is possible. Like this one, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, was very very highly advanced soul. So, but he was practicing he was practicing bhakti, tivra bhakti. At the same time, he was also practicing the angas of karma. So, like doing his family duties and things like that very seriously. And but still, he is considered to be a Mahabhagavat, because this is all liberated souls who come down to display and to teach people various different aspects of devotional service and things like that. So somebody who wants to live a life of grahastha, so his ideal should be Bhaktivinoda Thakur. How Bhaktivinoda Thakur conducted himself. So that is a very very amazing ideal to practice and follow. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Shubham. Thank you for the wonderful class. So I have this question that when you mentioned that and this Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavad Gita Krishna also mentioned that we should not shake a person from the position in which he is situated. So this question comes many times to my mind, many times, that it is sometimes required to shake the existence of a person. Personally, I do that many times. So actually, when we go out also for book distribution, sometimes it happens I speak about death, the aspect of death, and people get shaken up really, many times. So
that level of shaking is okay. What is being told here? You are shaking a person that you are doing adharma. So that level of shaking is necessary for the basic preaching. Here the shaking that is mentioned is, so one is following 4 regulative principles, chanting 16 rounds and doing his dharmic family life and things like that, going and shaking him. Arey, tum kya kar rahe hai? That kind of shaking is mentioned here. This is not shaking a person who is doing adharma, that shaking to karna hi hai. The next level shaking is told. So this level of shaking is, Krishna tells अरे वो तो 16 वाला कर रहा है, उसको छोड़ दो. वो धीरे धीरे आ जाएगा. And Narad Muni is telling, no, ऐसा कैसे करेंगे? भगवान भी बोले, ना हम नहीं छोड़ेंगे. So Narad Muni का preaching ऐसा है. So, and Vyasadeva was told that only, na. So Vyasadeva was told, you follow all the this ones. So, but here the shaking is a person who has developed a nice attachment to the process of bhakti, nice attachment to chanting, nice attachment to Bhagavatam, and he has he somehow or other desires to attain the lotus feet of the Lord. So then this kind of shaking is made. If he doesn't have so much of intensity in Krishna consciousness, then this kind of shaking is not made. Like that. So that is why it is mentioned that one who is and also it also depends upon the advancement of the preacher. So if the preacher is like Narad Muni and Srila Prabhupada and all, so who are completely convinced and they are experiencing the deep pleasure of Krishna consciousness, then they will talk about this because they have the capacity to invest that faith and enthusiasm into the person, and they have the capacity to lift him up. So he doesn't have adhikar to practice Kevala Bhakti, but they can infuse that faith in them and they can bring them up and sustain them in a higher level. So and then when they are sustained for a few days also like that, so they develop the internal, that shloka that he quoted, that Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janati Asu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayata Hetuka. Like that. So they practice, they get that. And if the practitioner says, oh Narad Muni, I don't have sufficient Jnana Vairagya in the heart, and you are telling you will lift me up, what if I fall? No, he says, that is why he says like Tyaktva Sadharmam Sharanam Jamare. No? So like so even if you fall, what is the problem? No, like you will have so much of devotional credits accumulated. What progress you can make in hundreds of lifetimes, you will make in few days. No, just jump in like that. No, after that, like no, your present life may be like miserable. That's okay. No? So Narad Muni is like खतरनाक preacher है वो, उसका level अलग है. So that is how when somebody makes, like it is all about like, no, a preacher is like a doctor, and if the doctor has the capacity to destroy the disease, and he is so powerful a doctor, he can destroy the disease, no, like from the root, and no, he says like, take the risk and come, no, like that. So that is powerful doctor. Like no, a neophyte preacher, he imitates this. No, patient आएगा like no, अभी बीमारी नहीं जा रहा है, अब मुझे भी नहीं पता है क्या करना है. तो वो पिटाई खाएगा लेकिन तो क्यों ऐसा बताया? नो, भागवत में नारद मुनि बताया, तुम क्यों बताया ऐसा? उसके कैपेसिटी था लाइक नो, बीमार क्योर करने के लिए. नो, तुम्हारा कैपेसिटी नहीं है. नो, फिर भी लाइक नो, तुम लेके आ गया मुझे. तो अभी देखो मेरा करियर चला गया, ये चला गया, वो चला गया, लेकिन सो मुझे ऐसा नो कुछ भी बोल के रेनंसिएशन करा दिया. नो, सो दैट इज लाइक द इफेक्ट ऑफ प्रीचिंग ऑफ ए नियोफाइट preacher. No, so like Narad Muni is like a very advanced preacher, and he is telling this, and he is confident that somebody accepts my this one. No, I'll be able to sustain him and make him. No, I can safe land him in the devotional service. No, I'm sure that I will bring about the this one renunciation in the heart of people. Like no, even if they don't have renunciation within, so no, I'm encouraging them for renunciation, and no, later on I'll bring them. Like that. So that is why Prabhupada, when he recruited like no, day one somebody comes and no, join ashram. No, so and people are also joining like that. So now we have lot of process. It is not because Prabhupada did something wrong. No, it is because we are weak. No, we cannot do the effect which Prabhupada could do. No, so that is how we make the process. No, and we say okay, fine. Like no, we describe all these things. No, it is not that we expect everybody to join ashram. So we expect that people will get into Grahastha ashram. So only expectation is that people will not settle back in Grahastha ashram. So that is why all this, all these things are made, that you enter into Grahastha ashram with a desire to renounce. So that should be taken, that should be planted. So that is why all these descriptions are given. So some of them may decide that okay, fine, we want to be there in renounced ashram. Most of them will actually enter into Grahastha ashram, so that is safe also for them. So, but then, with the desire to renounce later on, that is very, very essential. So, like many times, even devotees also enter into Grahastha ashram saying that, like, I am now settled. ये settlement नहीं है. Settlement means जब इसको छोड़ेंगे तब settlement होगा. So, life settle करना मतलब क्या है? Coming to the point of, like, how can somebody say, like, it is quite difficult to... So, settlement means once a person has come to such a platform that he is able to execute, only 64 angas of bhakti 24/7, then settle ho gaya life mein, So, but otherwise it is unsettled only, So now I may have to die and I may have to take another birth and things like that. Where is the settlement, So, that is the point. Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the Bhagavatam class. Like this point you were mentioning that the faith and enthusiasm one derives from a great devotee, pure devotee. Like so in that case, and that pure devotee takes responsibility of sustaining him even though he doesn't have internal bhakti actually. So, like initial, that faith and enthusiasm derived just by him, like, is that Laukik Shraddha? Is that known as Laukik Shraddha? And because Prabhupada also writes in that verse, sometimes someone joins movement or Krishna consciousness out of sentimental faith. So, all that can be considered Laukik Shraddha. and later on that pure devotee takes responsibility of transforming that to Shastri Shraddha, like you mentioned about Narad Muni or Prabhupada.
Mhm.
They ensured that they can sustain, but a neophyte preacher
Will not be able
actually, if he tries to imitate, the person may enter for some time, but gradually he may fall down. So is that the right understanding? Like,
So it can be because of Laukik Shraddha, it can be because of the transcendental faith, that the advanced devotee has. He is able to infuse that transcendental faith. So, but in either case, like if he agrees to engage in the angas of bhakti 24/7, so it has the angas of bhakti itself is so potent and powerful that it will transform a person. So that is the capacity that the bhakti has. So like on the strength of the bhakti, so it can happen. So but then if the environment is not so designed that we may have some faults in the execution of bhakti, so the offenses are not avoided, or maybe the practices are not purely practiced and things like that. So recently, like Jayadvaita Maharaj had brought out this book on Kirtan standards. So it's a very nice book, which talks about what it means to perform Kirtan, and whatever mantras we get, it is from the parampara, and then what all things, like many of the things that we chant is like all designed later on, so which is not authorized, so in that way, like even a small act of kirtan, there is so much of this one is there. So like if we have, everything must be pure, in the practice of Krishna consciousness, everything must be pure. So like if somebody executes pure angas of bhakti, without any deviation, so then it becomes very, very powerful. So the whole equation becomes very powerful. So a person can have an Laukik Shraddha, or can have like the transcendental faith shared from the heart of a pure devotee. So in either case, if he agrees to practice the angas of bhakti throughout the day in its pure form, so then it will bring about transformation. But it's quite difficult to, just like that it is. Laukik Shraddha say like to sustain for long time, long time means even for few months is very difficult. So like Laukik Shraddha will fail within short time, because bhakti demands a lot. Bhakti demands giving up sense gratification. Bhakti demands giving up liberation. So it's a lot of demand. It's quite a lot of price that one has to pay. So one will not be able to sustain with Laukik Shraddha. But if he is there in an environment where everybody's Shraddha is like very high, and then it is little bit of sample is added to it, and then they can just sweep away him, so then that is good. So but as Narad Muni is mentioning this Tyaktva Sadharmam, so like there is possibility of falling. There is very, very good chance of falling, because the person doesn't have the sufficient jnana vairagya to sustain that particular level. So that is why this particular shloka is added. In other ways, like in other yoga systems, generally this is not discussed. So the falling or failing in the process is not discussed, because they go through many, many iterations before they upgrade themselves to the next process. So that is why like the gradual process is always safest process, and this one risky process is the same even in the modern days also. Like you see the investments. So investments that bring about 7-8% of interest is considered to be safe interest. Investments that promise you 12%, 14% of interest is considered to be like risky investments. And it is like that. If you want more, you have to take risk, and risk means there is possibility of falling. And if you want to safely progress, then the results are slow and guaranteed, and then you'll make a gradual progress. So both these things are always there. And some like in everywhere you see that even though like risk is involved, there are many people who are investing on risky investments. They know like abhi market crash hoga to like pura chopot ho jayega. So but still like they invest on the risky investments. There are people like who always try that. And there are people like who always say that like no abhi risk nahi lena hai, so we will put in gold bonds or bank FDs, and like this one what is it?
Yes.
Huh? And stuffs like that. So So in that way, like, the people with both mindsets are always there. Like that.
So can we, like, what can we do so that, like, it is, because Narad Muni is also mentioning the possibility of falling down, and in Prabhupada's case also we saw like many sustained, but like there were
Many
some or
fallen.
many who fell down, although they were pure devotees, like coming from spiritual world. So what steps we can take in our life so that we don't fall?
That we should have personal counseling and guidance. Now, what we discussed was the subject, which is there in the Bhagavatam. So we need to have, personally, we need to take guidance from our seniors, that what is apt for me. Like that. So seniors also will gauge, like, whether I'll be able to hold this person or not. So, and how much risk he can possibly take. So all those things have to be worked out personally. So it is different for different devotees. Hare Krishna. Yes, ma'am.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the Prabhuji, as you mentioned that if a preacher is there like Narad Muni or Srila Prabhupada or pure devotees coming from such a world, then they can infuse that Shastri Shraddha and the devotee can sustain. But and for that constant Shravana from the pure devotee is required. Now we are living in an age where even if we are far distant from a pure devotee or spiritual master, still through video or Vani like that, internet we can have association Shravana to hear. But in previous ages this was not possible. So in previous ages even the Grihastha devotee who was living in the Varnashram lecture, he used to meet spiritual master hardly once or twice in a life. And as in Srila Prabhupada also, he met Bhaktivedanta Maharaj once or twice in a life. But still, then how they used to continue that process, because they wouldn't have Shravanam from a pure devotee. But still, how they used to continue that?
The definition of Shravanam itself is wrong. So Shravanam means like, actually now Varnashram communities are getting established. So there is, in Varnashram communities, there is no chance of internet and your mobile device or MP3 device and things like that. How will they do Shravanam? Huh? Book reading. Shravanam, traditionally always Shravanam is considered to be like reading from the scriptures. No? Like we are always having, that is why it is seen that, it is even, Prabhupada also, like, if you see, like he didn't tell that my lectures are the basis. No, you hear my lectures and you'll understand everything. No. So he told books are the basis. So even when we are trying to establish certain points, like if we want to do certain things in ISKCON, so what did Prabhupada wanted? How to actually determine what Prabhupada wanted. So the first preference or first weightage goes to books, and then goes to lectures, and then goes to the like conversations, letters and things like that and all. So now, if Prabhupada said something in the letter and he has contradicted in the book, so that means whatever he has told in the book, that only will be taken, right? So like the letters and things like that are given the very least preference. So where, see, in the letters and conversations, what Prabhupada is doing is the actual medicine he has given in Bhagavatam. And now in the letters and conversations, he is trying to find like, he will not be able to take this. What that particular person wants, according to that, he is actually prescribing a particular medicine for him. So, like, if you study this Bhagavatam or books is like the system of medicine. And that is like letters and conversations is like a particular prescription. So, a system of medicine, if you understand, and then if you understand your prescription from your authority, that is very nice. But then if you take somebody else's prescription, वो तो खतरनाक हो सकता है. It can become poisonous also, actually. So that is why, like, it is also very important that one should spend sufficient time reading the Bhaktivedanta purports, which is given by the Acharya. So that is very, very essential. So our primary Shravanam should be the book reading. That is the primary Shravanam. That we must have.
Adding to this point, we also say every day we should have Prabhupada lectures, spiritual master lectures. So I think in the past, how
Books. They were only studying books. And whenever they would get association, they would get instructions from the spiritual master. and the instructions they would keep it to the heart. If you see like Guru Puja, like what are you singing? That like Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittate Koriya Aikya. They would get some opportunity to hear from the spiritual master, and they would just keep it to the heart, and they would again and again recollect. No, my spiritual master has told these things. No, and Srila Prabhupada, like he met a few times Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and what he actually took it, like to the heart very closely. Book distribution, something which his spiritual master wanted, and then how he wanted to manage the society and things like that. The instructions that he meditated about, right? So that is what is going to purify the heart. And apart from that, the spiritual nourishment, it is going to primarily come from the books. Books are the basis. That's how the Vedic system used to work.
And then the point of understanding the mood of the spiritual master, like Prabhupada also mentioned when he wrote a poem for the glorification of Bhakti Saraswati Thakur, where he wrote about Mayavadi and his spiritual master also appreciated. So he understood the mood of his spiritual master. So how that happens?
By reading and sitting, yeah. He is an acharya. See, any acharya, he lives behind books, to understand. So all other spiritual masters acts as an assistant to the acharya. An acharya comes, he is the primary preacher. Primary preacher comes once in a while, and rest of the time, preachers act as an assistant to the acharya. And acharya always leaves behind books. That's the way, we try to take advantage. We will pause here. Prasadam time, or I will also have to go to another program. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Raji, for such a wonderful